coming back to Australia, I find something strange has happened. You see, a few years ago, I saw a grown man and his powerful mates pick on, publicly shame, a 13-year-old girl. And I stood up for her, of course. But now I find there's a new film that's come out saying that I'm the bad guy. Yep, welcome to the mad world of race politics that turns everything upside down. And I'm talking, of course, about a film that the AFL has been promoting about former Sydney Swan star Adam Goodes, who identifies as Aboriginal, and about the public criticism he got at the end of his career, criticism that the AFL now says was racist and has apologised for. Here's the promo for that film, The Final Quarter.
Yeah, look, he's an unbelievable player. He's got 2 Brownlows, he's got 3 best and first, 4 All-Australians, one of the all-time great players.
The AFL fans and officials have expressed shock and disappointment.
I've never seen a country so divided about a sporting subject like this.
What he's doing is cutting through. He's forcing our nation to talk.
It's not a comfortable thing to talk about. It's definitely not a comfortable thing to go through. I decided to stand up, and I'll continue to stand up.
And, you know, if that's not enough, I find there's a second film also coming, Stan Grant's The Australian Dream, which will open the Melbourne International Film Festival soon. And again, it's Good the hero, and his critics, like me, well, we're apparently the racist. Here's some of that film's promo.
Racism has no place in society, it has no place in our industry.
Football's racism row has erupted again.
I'll continue to stand up.
This is unacceptable because he's black.
It's a bit of a joke.
It's their voice.
We are racist.
It's shocking.
Now, the first film, The Final Quarter, has already been shown to selected and sympathetic journalists who almost universally agree that Goodes, the heroic winner of 2 Brownlow medals, was the tragic victim of a terrible racism that drove this great champion out of the game. Racism that included booing by opposing fans.
Bounds, Gibson has a look and says, give me a break.
And here is where I have got to say enough. This is madness. This story of Adam Goodes getting hounded out of the game by racist fans and commentators makes no sense at all. And insisting on that story is a big mistake by the AFL. It insults its own fans for a start. Consider this. Adam Goodes played AFL football for 16 years. If fans really are so racist, why do they boo him in just the last couple of those years of his career? And why don't they boo all the other Aboriginal stars that we have, including the much-loved Eddie Betts, probably the most popular player in football today? Why boo only Adam Goodes? And as soon as you ask that question, of course, this racism story starts to fall apart. Now, I never liked the mass booing of Goodes, just like I didn't like the Australian crowds who were booing English fast bowler Stuart Broad relentlessly, who, I might point out, is not Aboriginal. But why I criticise Goodes had nothing to do with any racism and everything to do with sanctimonious adults picking on a 13-year-old girl. That girl was a Collingwood fan at the football who called Goodes an ape. Now, that is rude. But the punishment and humiliation dumped on this girl was way over the top, given her age. Goodes pointed her out and security marched her out of the stadium, all captured on national TV. She was then detained, questioned by police, threatened with charges, and named and shamed in the media around the country as a racist.
Racism has a face last night, and, you know, it was a 13-year-old girl, but...
Now, it didn't seem to matter to the media left that this girl was just 13 years old. I mean, to repeat, 13. She was teary, she was sorry, she was saying she never meant to be racist. And I ask whether the people picking on this girl are the real racists here. If this 13-year-old wasn't white, I reckon they might have shown her some pity, maybe made some allowance for her very young age. But being white means automatically this child was the oppressor, and Adam Goodes, the adult, the club captain, the superhero, he was the victim, being Aboriginal. Now that is what I thought was wrong. And I wasn't alone in saying so. And in fact, that was when the booing really took off. Goodes staging for free kicks as he got older and slower, that just added to it. And unfortunately, that wasn't all. Goodes also inflamed rival fans by staging a war dance that included brandishing an imaginary spear at Carlton fans, a clearly hostile act. In fact, Goodes later explained that dance was, quote, a battle cry at you guys, saying this is who I am, a warrior and representing my people. So, a battle cry against you guys, white, from a warrior of my people, black. Now, to see how off that is, how inflammatory, imagine a white athlete pretending to shoot fans from another race. In fact, it seems to me you could argue that the fans were actually booing against racism and against these double standards and against the racial division that Goodes seems at times to represent. Now, I do agree. Some racists would have joined in that booing of Adam Goodes, and shame on them. And I also agree that Goodes actually means well. But his stands against racism too often backfired again and again. Wrong targets, wrong symbolism. That's all there is to it. But so often the truth is so obvious that only our intellectuals refuse to see it. They'd much rather invent racist mobs at the football and praise a film that spreads that inflammatory untruth.